You have been told a lie so enticing that it has woven itself into countless books, videos, and whispered promises. The lie is this, that your thoughts alone collapse reality, that the universe is but a waiting servant, bending to the force of your mind the way a reed bends in the wind. They told you that if you only pictured hard enough, affirmed loud enough, and believed long enough, reality itself would rearrange for you. But deep inside, you've felt the truth because you've tried, haven't you? You've closed your eyes, repeated the phrases, imagined the future in vibrant colors, and then opened your eyes to see the world unchanged. And in those moments, perhaps you wondered, what's wrong with me? Why does it work for others but not for me? Am I not powerful enough? Not spiritual enough? This is the hidden cruelty of the lie. It makes you question your own worth. It makes you doubt your own capacity, keeps you powerless, waiting for reality to fold at the command of your thoughts instead of walking into the arena where change truly happens. Think of this illusion like a mirage on the desert horizon. From far away, it glitters like water, shimmering with hope. You chase it, believing refreshment is only a few steps ahead. But the closer you get, the more it retreats, leaving you thirsty, restless, disoriented. This is how the lie works. It seduces you with a promise that your mind alone is the lever of the cosmos, and that one more affirmation, one more vision board, one more day of wishing will finally bring you the flood. But the universe is not a vending machine for desires. It is not a servant waiting for orders. It is a living, breathing field of possibility, responsive not just to your thoughts, but to the dance of your choices, your habits, your courage. Reality bends not to idle wishing, but to the rhythm of alignment, where thought, belief, and action walk hand in hand. So here, at the very beginning, let us set the record straight. The lie is not that you are powerless. The lie is that your power was ever separate from you, hidden in some mystical trick of particles. The truth is both simpler and deeper. You are powerful, not because you can command the universe like a king on a throne, but because you can shape yourself like a gardener shapes the soil. And from that soil, entire worlds can grow. And so I ask you, are you ready to stop chasing the mirage? Are you ready to see clearly, perhaps for the first time, where your real power lies? Because once you see it, once you claim it, no lie will ever keep you waiting again. Why does this lie endure? Why do so many intelligent, sincere souls cling to it with such fierce devotion? Because at first glance, it is beautiful. It promises a life without struggle, a destiny arranged by thought alone. The idea that you could lift your mind like a magic wand and watch reality bend to your command is intoxicating. It whispers to you that life is a chessboard, and you, without training or sacrifice, can move the pieces at will. Knights and kings bowing to your imagination. Who wouldn't want that power? Who wouldn't want a shortcut through the uncertainty of existence? This allure is not new. More than a century ago, the New Thought movement swept across America. It taught that your mind could summon health, wealth, and happiness simply by holding the right ideas. Out of it grew the familiar phrases, thoughts are things, energy flows where attention goes, and the glittering promise that reality itself is clay in your hands. Later, it resurfaced as the law of attraction, wrapped in books and films, assuring millions that visualizing wealth would magnetize dollars, that picturing love would draw a soulmate, that thinking health would heal disease. It was hope packaged into a formula, a gospel of effortlessness in a weary world. And yet, beneath its surface, the lie gained power because it touched something deeper. At its core, the myth speaks to the human ache for control. Life feels chaotic, jobs vanish, relationships break, bodies falter, economies shift without our consent. In this storm, who would not grasp at the promise of certainty? Who would not cling to a story that says, you are the architect, you are the master, you are never at the mercy of chance? The seduction grows stronger because the myth offers not just power, but blame. If you fail to manifest, the story insists it is only because you did not think purely enough, believe strongly enough, visualize clearly enough. You are told the fault lies within your own unsteady mind. And so, shame mixes with hope, binding you even tighter to the cycle. Try again, think harder, imagine brighter. It becomes a spiritual treadmill, moving but never arriving. Like a child believing in fairy tales, you want to hold on. The lie comforts you the way a lullaby comforts a restless child. Soft, sweet, reassuring that monsters cannot reach you if your mind is strong enough. And so you sing yourself back to sleep while life waits, asking not for endless wishing, but for awake action. But here is the turning point. The universe is vast, mysterious, alive. It is not, however, a vending machine for wishes. It does not dispense health and fortune because you pressed the right mental buttons. No, its laws are subtler and more demanding. It asks for alignment, not illusion. It asks for a marriage of thought and deed, of inner vision and outer step. And this is where the journey begins to shift. Once you see the trap for what it is, you no longer need to wander in circles, clutching at slogans and empty promises. You begin to sense that real power has been waiting for you all along. Not in bending particles with thought, but in bending yourself toward what is possible. Now let us step with clear eyes into the realm where this myth borrows its language, the strange, shimmering world of quantum physics. It is here, in the mystery of particles and waves, that the story of thought's collapsing reality was born. But to see clearly, we must distinguish poetry from physics. The first confusion lies in the observer effect. Popular teachings declare that a conscious human mind is required to make particles choose a position, collapsing their possibilities into a single outcome. It is a compelling idea, but science tells a different story. In quantum mechanics, an observer is not a person. It is any interaction with the environment. A particle's delicate state of possibility vanishes the moment it touches a detector, collides with a photon, or becomes entangled with surrounding atoms. Consciousness does not press the button. Reality does. This is what physicists call decoherence. Imagine a drop of morning dew resting delicately on a blade of grass. As long as the air is cool and the shadows deep, it holds its shimmering shape. But as the sun rises and the warmth spreads, the dew evaporates into the air. A quantum state is much the same. Fragile, fleeting, held only when untouched. The moment the wider world brushes against it, it dissolves, and the system behaves like the solid, predictable matter we see around us. The second confusion is entanglement. Teachers of the myth proclaim that because particles can be linked across vast distances, your thoughts can instantly shape events across the cosmos. But here too, science is firm. Entanglement does create correlations, strange, instantaneous connections when two particles are measured. Yet it does not allow messages to be sent, nor control to be exerted. You cannot whisper into one particle and command the other. It is not a cosmic steering wheel. It is a mirror of correlation, not causation. And then there is the brain itself, so often declared to be a quantum engine of manifestation. The truth? Your brain is magnificent, but it is also warm, wet, and noisy. Quantum states demand stillness, isolation, and near-perfect silence. Conditions found in specialized laboratories cooled to temperatures colder than outer space. In the brain, particles collide, chemicals surge, electrons fire in a storm of activity. Decoherence happens in trillionths of a second. There is no sustained quantum orchestra playing behind your thoughts. Instead, there is the beautiful classical complexity of neurons, networks, and patterns built through experience. Even Einstein, who resisted some of quantum theory's implications, once said, "God does not play dice." But even if dice are involved, they are not tossed by your thoughts alone. The dice of the quantum world tumble according to laws, mathematical, intricate, and far older than any affirmation or vision board. They are not rigged by imagination. And yet, do not hear this as the stripping away of your power. In fact, it is the beginning of your liberation. Because when you let go of the fantasy that your thoughts bend particles like a puppeteer, you free yourself from disappointment and self-blame. You stop waiting for the universe to rearrange itself magically, and you begin to see the deeper truth. Your power has never been about fantasy. It has always lived in reality. Think of it this way. A gardener cannot command the rain to fall or the sun to shine at will. But by learning the rhythms of nature, by tilling the soil, planting the seed and tending with care, the gardener collaborates with the universe. The growth is no less miraculous for being real. Your life works the same way. The quantum field does not bow to your passing thoughts, but your consistent choices, your focused attention, and your courageous actions create ripples that accumulate into transformation. The myth asks you to stand still and wish. Science invites you to walk forward and build. The lie seduces you with the promise of bending reality instantly. The truth awakens you to the far greater miracle of shaping reality steadily. Your thoughts are not wands that command particles, but they are sparks that ignite patterns of behavior. Your beliefs are not magnets that pull money from the air, but they are lenses that determine how you perceive opportunities, how you act on them, and how you persist when challenges arise. This is the true bridge between mind and matter. Not supernatural shortcuts, but natural laws, faithfully applied. So let this be a gentle reframing, not a harsh denial. Your power does not vanish with the collapse of the myth. It only shifts, moving from fantasy into reality, from waiting into doing, from hoping into becoming. The cosmos is vast, mysterious, and alive, but it is not your servant. It is your partner. And once you see that you no longer chase illusions, you begin to cultivate miracles in the soil of the real. If not through bending particles, then how? If not by commanding electrons to dance at the edge of existence, where does your real power live? The answer is both humbler and more extraordinary. Your power lives in the way you shape yourself, in the way your beliefs, attention, and actions work together like sunlight, soil, and seed. Modern psychology reveals what mystics hinted at long ago, that belief is not just a private thought floating in your head. It is a lens that tints the entire landscape of your experience. When you expect healing, your body often responds as though medicine has already been given. When you expect pain relief, your brain releases endorphins that dull suffering. This is the placebo effect, misunderstood by many as fake healing, when in fact it is the clearest demonstration of how expectation reshapes physiology. Belief doesn't rearrange atoms in the external world, but it rearranges chemistry, perception, and resilience within you. And that is no small thing. Think of belief as a pair of colored glasses. If you wear lenses tinted blue, the whole world seems cooler, shaded, more subdued. If you wear lenses tinted gold, everything shines with warmth. The world outside has not changed, but the way you navigate it has. Belief is this lens. It filters what you notice, influences what you attempt, and even alters the signals your body sends to itself. Through this quiet mechanism, belief steers your steps long before action begins. Neuroscience shows us how deeply this runs. Attention itself, where you place your focus, literally shapes the wiring of your brain. Neurons that fire together wire together. Each time you direct your gaze, your thoughts, your energy, you strengthen certain pathways while allowing others to weaken. Over time, your inner landscape molds itself to the choices of your attention. This is not mind over matter, but mind with matter, a partnership between the intangible flow of thought and the tangible structure of flesh. Consider the athlete preparing for competition. Studies reveal that when athletes vividly rehearse a skill in the mind, feeling the muscles tighten, hearing the rhythm of breath, visualizing the exact sequence of motion, the brain lights up in patterns almost identical to those used in actual performance. Mental rehearsal primes the body, but the magic only unfolds when it is paired with real, physical practice. Thought alone does not win the race, but thought combined with action builds the body and the confidence to succeed. And so it is with every dimension of life. When you picture yourself giving a difficult speech, the rehearsal reduces anxiety. When you imagine yourself rising each morning with strength, your body learns to associate waking with vitality. When you visualize kindness before entering a tense conversation, your tone shifts, and the outcome often follows. Thought prepares the ground, action plants the seed, and persistence waters it until growth appears. Your true power is not in commanding the cosmos like a sovereign issuing decrees. It is in aligning the inner lens with outer effort. It is in holding a vision steady enough that your body, your choices, and your habits begin to move toward it, step by step, day by day. This is not less miraculous than bending particles. In truth, it may be more miraculous, because it is reliable, it is repeatable, and it is within reach every single morning you rise. Think of a river carving its way through stone. No single drop of water shatters the rock, but through steady flow, the river shapes the canyon. So it is with your thoughts paired with action. Gentle, consistent, and unstoppable over time. Thought alone is a cloud drifting in the sky. Action alone is labor without direction. But when thought and action marry, they become the river, patient, enduring, transformative. The lie told you that your mind alone is a magic wand. The truth reveals that your mind is a compass, pointing you toward action. One alone is incomplete. Together, they are the machinery of change. And once you see this, the disappointment of failed wishes dissolves into the joy of knowing you were never powerless, only misled. So here you stand, no longer waiting for electrons to obey your imagination, but ready to direct your attention, shape your habits, and plant the seeds of your becoming. Your power is not in bending reality apart from you. Your power is in bending with reality, in entering into its rhythms, and working with its laws as an artist works with paint, as a gardener works with seasons. This is where your strength has always been. This is where your transformation begins. The lie is this, that you must wait for the universe to rearrange itself, instead of rearranging yourself. It whispers that your role is to think, to hope, to visualize, while the cosmos bends in obedience. But do you see the trap hidden inside? While you wait for reality to shift, time moves on. While you imagine the world changing outside of you, the true place of power within you remains untouched. This belief disempowers because it makes you passive. It convinces you that sitting still is strength, that silence is strategy, that waiting is wisdom. It tells you that the harvest will come without planting, that the waves will calm without learning how to swim. And so, you stand at the shoreline of your own life, watching the tide move in and out, hoping that one day it will change in your favor. But tides have their own rhythm, indifferent to your wishing. Power does not belong to the one who waits for the waves. It belongs to the one who learns to surf them. The lie convinces you that power lies out there, in particles, in invisible forces, in some cosmic lottery. It distracts you from the truth that your choices, your patterns, your persistence are what craft the shape of your days. When you believe that reality is controlled by something beyond your reach, you hand away responsibility. And when you hand away responsibility, you also hand away freedom. You become a spectator in your own story. Think of the years you could lose to waiting for wealth to fall into your lap instead of building the skills that create it. Waiting for love to arrive on its own instead of cultivating the courage to open, to speak, to risk. Waiting for health to manifest from thin air instead of walking, stretching, nourishing your body with care. The lie steals the present moment by promising a future that never arrives. But here is the reversal, as sharp and liberating as dawn breaking over the sea. Your freedom begins the moment you reclaim authorship. The moment you recognize that your thoughts are not orders sent into the universe, but blueprints for your own steps. The moment you decide that waiting is over, and that doing, however small, however imperfect, is your birthright. It is not the universe that needs rearranging. It is you. And when you change, the world changes in reflection. Like a mirror, reality returns what you bring before it. Smile into it, and a smile greets you back. Scowl, and the face staring back darkens too. Life mirrors your authorship. So the choice is this. Will you remain at the shoreline, watching waves in endless repetition, blaming the sea for not obeying your imagination? Or will you step into the water, board in hand, and learn the art of balance, of falling and rising, of catching the rhythm that was always there? Surfing requires practice. It demands courage, but it is real and it is yours. The lie kept you powerless because it told you to wait. The truth restores your power because it tells you to act. And once you taste the freedom of authorship, you will never again hand it away. If the myth leaves you powerless, then what replaces it? What practices carry you from wishing into becoming? The answer is not in secret formulas or cosmic shortcuts, but in simple, profound tools that science, philosophy, and nature alike affirm. These are not empty promises. They are repeatable practices, tested across time and proven by countless lives. The first is called implementation intentions. Psychologists have found that when you pair your goals with clear, if-then plans, your chances of success rise dramatically. Instead of saying vaguely, "I will exercise more," you set a cue. If it is 7 p.m., then I will put on my shoes and walk around the block. If-then planning removes the fog of indecision. It transforms goals from fragile wishes into precise instructions for the mind. And meta-analyses of nearly 100 studies show that these tiny sentences, so simple they could be scribbled on a napkin, produce consistent, powerful improvements in goal achievement. Picture it like this. The mind, left alone, is like a field scattered with seeds. Without structure, most of those seeds never sprout. But an if-then plan is like digging a hole, placing the seed in fertile soil and watering it. Suddenly, growth becomes not just possible, but predictable. Every time the cue arrives, the seed of action is given what it needs. Over days and weeks, roots sink deep, stems rise strong, and a new habit blooms. The second practice is mental contrasting, often known by the method called WOP, wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. It begins with vision, yes, imagining the desired future in detail. But it does not stop there. You then place that vision against the obstacles you know will arise. You face reality as it is, the fatigue, the temptations, the old patterns that threaten to pull you back. And finally, you write the plan. If this obstacle appears, then I will respond in this way. An example, you wish to walk in the evening. The outcome you picture is health, energy, and a clear mind. The obstacle is the voice that says, "I'm too tired tonight." And the plan becomes, if I feel the urge to skip my evening walk, then I will at least put on my shoes and step outside for 2 minutes. 2 minutes may not sound like much, but once the shoes are tied and the night air touches your face, the walk often unfolds naturally. The obstacle loses its power, not by being ignored, but by being met with preparation. Science confirms the strength of this approach. Across more than 15,000 participants in multiple studies, WOP consistently helped people pursue goals more effectively, from health to relationships to academic achievement. Why? Because it blends dream with discipline. It honors the vision, but it roots it in soil. It does not deny the obstacle, it makes the obstacle part of the plan. Philosophy too points us in the same direction. Aristotle taught that virtue is not a lightning strike of inspiration, nor a moment of miraculous transformation. Virtue is habit. It is the repeated act of choosing rightly until the choice becomes natural, almost effortless. Just as the hand of a harpist grows skilled by practice, or the eye of an artist learns to see form and color through use, so the soul becomes strong by repeating patterns of action. Habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. Nature tells the same story. Seeds only grow when planted in soil, watered, and tended, not when imagined in the sky. No farmer stands in an empty field and waits for crops to appear by visualization alone. He kneels in the dirt, presses the seed into the earth, waters it, guards it, and trusts the process. This rhythm is not punishment. It is grace. For in tending the seed, the farmer becomes patient, diligent, attuned to the seasons. And in tending your own habits with if-then plans and mental contrasting, you too become shaped not just toward the outcome, but into the kind of person who can sustain it. So let us place these tools in your hands. Begin small. Write one if-then plan today. Choose one wish and run it through WOP. Make the invisible visible, the vague precise. Step into the soil of your own life. Press the seed deep and water it with daily attention. Do not despise the small beginnings, for in time, a single planted seed can become a forest. This is not the glamour of instant manifestation. It is not the glittering promise of thought alone bending reality. It is something far better. A path you can walk, a practice you can trust, a power that no lie can take from you. The river of change begins not with fantasy, but with the steady flow of choice, anchored in science, affirmed by philosophy, mirrored in the natural world. And as you take these steps, you will discover that you were never powerless. You were only waiting for the right tools to awaken the author already within you. Some may wonder, does seeing through the lie strip the world of its wonder? If thoughts do not bend particles, if consciousness does not collapse the universe into place, is the mystery gone? The answer is no. In truth, this doesn't kill the mystery of the cosmos. It deepens it. Quantum physics may not be a personal genie, but it does reveal something breathtaking. That reality itself is woven with uncertainty, that particles can be linked across distances, that the smallest pieces of the universe hum with possibility until they meet the world. Far from trivial, this teaches us that life is not rigid or predetermined, but alive with interconnection. It is not proof of wishful magic, but of a cosmos that resists being fully tamed, a reality still shimmering with awe. Psychology, too, adds its layer of wonder. It shows us that what you believe alters what you attempt, how you persevere, and how your very body responds. Belief may not move mountains, but it moves you, and when you move, mountains begin to shift. Philosophy echoes the same truth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, not because thoughts bend atoms in the air, but because they bend the very fabric of who you are. What you dwell upon, you become. What you practice, you embody. What you embody, you radiate into the world around you." So the bridge is clear. Science shows you the structure, psychology shows you the mechanism, and philosophy shows you the meaning. Together, they invite you into a way of living where awe and action meet. You are free to marvel at the mysteries of quantum entanglement, but you are also called to entangle yourself with life through choice and courage. You are free to savor the poetry of uncertainty, but also to face obstacles with the steady clarity of WOP and the strength of habit. The great error of the lie was not that it reached for mystery, it was that it used mystery as an escape from responsibility. The truth is far more luminous. You are not called to abandon the stars for the soil, nor to deny the soil for the stars. You are called to hold both, the awe of existence and the discipline of action. For when you integrate science, spirit, and self, you discover a power that is both grounded and transcendent. And so the invitation is simple: walk forward in wonder, but walk forward. Let your beliefs shape your actions, and let your actions carve your destiny. That is the true alchemy, where awe and effort meet, and where your life becomes the proof. So now we return to where we began, with the lie that has held so many in its grasp. The biggest lie is this: that the universe will shift for you if you only think hard enough. That the cosmos waits like a servant, ready to obey the flick of your imagination. It is a story that kept you waiting, that kept you doubting, that kept you powerless. But the truth is brighter, sturdier, more liberating. The universe does not bend to idle thought. It responds when thought marries action. It answers when belief walks hand in hand with habit, when vision takes root in the soil of choice. It is not thought alone that shapes destiny, but thought aligned with the daily steps you are willing to take. You are not the puppeteer of particles. You are the gardener of patterns. Each decision is a seed. Each habit is water. Each act of courage is sunlight breaking through. And over time, your field begins to bloom. This is the true miracle, not instant rearrangement, but steady cultivation. Not bending reality from a distance, but shaping it up close with your own two hands. So let this be your declaration. Stop collapsing dreams. Start collapsing excuses. Stop waiting for the tide to change. Start learning how to ride it. The moment you reclaim authorship, the moment you choose to act, the world begins to reflect the strength within you. And now I invite you into a simple yet powerful act of commitment. Write this in the comments: I reclaim my power now. Let it be more than words. Let it be the spark that ignites your next step. If this truth has stirred something in you, if it has lifted a weight from your shoulders or opened your eyes to where your real power lies, then like this video, share it with someone you care about and subscribe. Let this message travel farther than the lie ever did. Let it ripple outward until more and more awaken to the freedom that waiting will never bring, but action always will. Remember, you are not powerless. You are not waiting for the universe to change. You are the gardener, and today you begin to plant.